Thank you, everyone. Well, tonight I am going to be speaking to you about what will the adjudicator look for. Of course, we have a lot of documentation about how you're supposed to prepare for a debate and how you should be structuring your arguments and getting your content. And we all have a general idea of how we put together a debate. And actually, the simple fact that this room is filled with people now, it really convinces someone when they're at the podium that this is who we're speaking to and this is who we really want to get on our side. If I look around and I see everyone smiling and clapping or laughing when I'm doing a debate, I feel pretty good because I've won the audience's side. But of course, here at the Toronto Debating Society, we try and get two different winners. We get the audience vote and we get the adjudicator vote. So sometimes it's easy to forget that amongst everyone that's sitting in front of you, there's one person who actually has the scorecard, and they're actually looking at it, and they're actually trying to grade you on a very quantitative basis, whereas typically you'd see an audience would probably be making very qualitative decisions, or would have one little gotcha moment. For example, the famous Mulrooney, "You had a choice, Mr. Turner." That's always regarded as a fundamental moment in the debate where he was considered to have won. But an adjudicator has to consider the entire picture, everything, all of the arguments, all the supporting content, and all the rebuttals. So I'm going to spend a few minutes, a little bit of time, going through what the adjudicator will look for in a debate. So actually, if you have the scorecard in front of you, I'm actually just going to walk through some of those parts. The reason that we hand the scorecard to everyone at the beginning of the debate is kind of a mini example of what is the adjudicator looking for. I don't think many people fill this out during a debate, but if you would like to, please feel free, because that gives you an idea about what we're actually doing. So in the beginning, we start with argument. That's the first of 5 things that we're looking for. And we number the little blank areas where we actually are prompting the debaters to come up with their points. So it is definitely beneficial. The adjudicator is going to be looking for a debater coming up and saying, here's my arguments, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because then the adjudicator knows where one argument begins and where it ends, and then where the next one begins. Because sometimes if it's a very stream of consciousness approach, it's difficult to tell, did you have a lot of arguments? Was there basically only one argument? And I'll read to you from the rubric, because argument, the outstanding section, states that multiple clear and relevant arguments have been made. So that means it's clear where the arguments are distinguished and they are relevant. And if you go even further, up to the perfect category, 13 to 15 points, all of these arguments are very persuasive and relevant. So not only are they clear, but they hit home and they are very relevant. They hit the subject matter right down the middle. That's what you really want to hear from the arguments. And for content, again, for outstanding, strong evidence for your major arguments. So you've got your clear, relevant arguments, and each one is backed up with some type of evidence. Something that's happened recently in current events, some type of example from historical data, something from Stats Canada, something from a study from The Economist, from the National Post, things like that. That actually builds up your case, so that bolsters it. And of course, even better than outstanding is there's compelling evidence for all arguments. So it's not just some obscure Google search, or it's something that really fits with your argument extremely well, and that is done for each argument, and that is excellent. That's what the adjudicator is looking for. Now, rebuttals. In the same way that a debater is going to be listing their arguments, the opposition debater should also be one by one picking them off, because if they ignore one of the major arguments from the other side, that makes the adjudicator think, well, why was that missed? Was there something wrong with that? Does that argument stand up very well to scrutiny, so it's just skipped? So that is definitely a problem. So if I hear convincing rebuttals to all arguments, then that is excellent. And if those rebuttals are devastating and gripping, if the audience is left with the perception that that argument is just gone. For example, if the argument has been identified as a logical fallacy, then that argument is completely nullified. So that rebuttal was devastating. Now, for teamwork, we have teams of 2, and the adjudicator would like to hear a unified development of those arguments. So in the same way that they are developing our arguments 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't want to hear contradictions from the same side if they have a problem with their arguments, or if it seems like the tone or direction from each debater is different. For example, if it seems like they are speaking in a silo and it doesn't seem to be that overarching theme that I would like to hear, it really feels like there wasn't enough teamwork. So the teamwork scores, we're looking for arguments are fully developed in unison. So you can really feel how all of the arguments complement each other. And an even better score for that is it's focused and it's seamless and the style's balanced. Then you really feel like you've got a great tag team teamwork debate. For style and rhetoric, this is one of the smaller point values, but it's still very important. For style, I'm looking for a great presentation. This is a large portion of what the audience picks up on, because if it's a really riveting and compelling presentation, they're going to really put a lot of credence to that case. But the adjudicator is still looking for that, but with a balanced and measured degree. So if it's riveting and it's compelling and entertaining, full style points there. So that is what the adjudicator is looking for. Are there any questions? Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.